Good evening, everybody on the Suffolgram.
Guys, yes.
Welcome to episode 256 of the Brand Nerds podcast.
The
Memory
memory
Day.
one.
Yes. Yes, Memory Day. I had something, do you know, ironically, I was listening to another podcast and they did an interesting fact about the number 256, about how it's a sort of certain multiplication he gets to, because obviously it's a nice computery number. I thought, that's interesting. I must make a note of that for when we
You
discuss
didn't.
it. I completely forgot to do that. So if you fancy to know about this, check out No Such Thing as a Fish, the previous podcast of this one, and then you can learn the interesting fact that I learnt about it as well. And it's a good podcast as well. Maybe people make QI. Very good. So it's our penultimate podcast of the year, 256, heading towards Christmas countdown. Skaz is feeling very festive, aren't you, Skaz? You're, as always.
Yeah, festivities. Wait, hang on. Are there going to be bells?
Maybe.
Don't you fucking dare, Em.
Would I do such a thing to you, Skaz?
Yes.
I believe I know what my bells are, but it's okay, because this isn't the Christmas special, so it's fine.
It's just, I don't know, man. I'm just kind of bracing for impact. You know how it is. It's like I'm having like Vietnam flashbacks. It's that time of year again. It's that time of year, guys. And then someone would go, would Ram ever do such a thing? And I'm sat there thinking to myself, like,
Yes.
I'm about to walk across a minefield. Would he tell me to go first? Of course he fucking would.
No, I wouldn't send you first, unless there's no other choice.
Yeah, exactly. It's either me or you, Skaz, and you're gone.
No. What I'd do is I'd get a load of I'd find, you know, those gradually just generally annoying people in life.
No, there's a lot of those.
Yeah. I'd get a load of them just sort of like say, hey, look, go annoy the people over there. Okay, and off they go and bang, 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 bang.
But what if they stop? Like, what if they realise it's a trap?
That is a possibility. But that's
'Cause,
that's
they see their mate go pachoo and turn into a meaty cloud.
it's
How
fine.
do you
It's a fluke. It's a fluke.
Like, what?
These things happen. It's normal. Have you never heard of spontaneous human explosion before?
Yeah, he was just so annoying. He hit his peak and just popped.
Yeah.
Like, no, but you can't come back because if you do, you might pop too.
Yeah. The only way to avoid popping is to go forwards. Trust me. And if that fails, that's where the gun comes out.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, it's good. So, have you been up to anything, Skaz, at all?
No, mate. Losing my mind and my hair. So, no.
Oh.
Nothing at all, mate.
Well, we've got a couple of game things to talk about. So, why don't we kick off? Let's talk about a game that is going to be our Christmas special game. That will be going live. I think the first episode is going to go live. I want to say the 17th of December, I believe.
I don't even know what day it is today, Ram. So it's sometime this month. You'll get it this year.
Yes, the 17th of December, Tuesday the 17th of December, the first episode will go live. 17-part series of one of our favourite puzzle games. We Were Here Forever.
Dude, I loved that game.
That was so good, yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I remember when we first played that game, or the series, started the series, so many years ago.
First game's like game.
Yeah, and I'm thinking to myself, I don't know if I'm gonna like this. Like, we got stuck like really quickly. And then we kind of got into this groove. I was like, oh my god, we're not gonna be able to do this. We're gonna be stuck on these puzzles like forever. We're never gonna be able to leave our keyboards. We're gonna die here.
I think we got slightly burnt from We Were Here. So we were here together. We Were Here.
The third one was terrible.
The third one wasn't great. No, it was.
The first one was great. I was worried I was going to bounce, but that turned out to be really fun.
Yeah.
Second one, more of the fun stuff from what I remember, and I think it was the third one, and there was a bit kind of go big or go home, and they really should have just not.
They made the puzzles too complicated.
Yeah.
There was like one which was like a maze trying to climb up a cliff face, and then immediately after getting past that, there was another maze.
Yeah.
And I,
Oh yeah, the ice caves up. So you had
yes,
to.
yeah,
So you had to guide me part way up a cliff. So we got
guide
separated
each
on
other, yeah.
each side, and then as we got out of, and that puzzle was a. I'm sure there was probably some thing we didn't click to, because a lot of the puzzles in this new one we just clicked to a lot of
Yeah.
these puzzles. There must have been something we missed in the third one, especially for that puzzle. But then we went into that next, the like the little ice cavern thing. Oh my gods, man,
Yeah,
that was
that was horrible. To put it nicely, it was horrible. Um,
yeah.
yeah, yeah, that was I think we were both glad when that game finished.
Oh yeah, I don't
Yeah.
remember how it finished, but I know that we finished it.
I imagine it ended. I'm going to throw out here. I imagine it ended with one of us not getting out.
Yeah, probably,
Yeah.
maybe,
But
maybe.
yeah, it's a fun little puzzle game. Perhaps as I've got a load to talk about my next game. I'll let Skaz tell us about Reaver here and how it all works. And
Okay, so just going from like the first game onwards, I could be wrong in how I'm describing this, but the We Were Here series kind of plays like an escape room. If you've ever played or if you've ever seen the TV show Nightmare, if anyone has seen
yes,
Nightmare, it was an old school TV show from way back in the day, and the idea is there's this geezer's got a helmet on, and they're having to walk through this world. They can't see a thing, and they are being guided by their teammates.
yep,
And so, generally, in We Were Here, it's the same kind of groove. We usually got two characters, you, your mate, and you'll get separated at various stages, and then you'll have to give each other clues. So I think in the first one, it was largely you giving me clues, like you were in
yeah.
a room full of
You
books and stuff.
you had a role called the librarian and the explorer, I think is what they were called. And one person basically was the person like doing the puzzles, and the other person was like looking for I was like sort of doing the research
Yeah,
keys and stuff. Whereas in 2 and 3, you saw like you swapped roles. 2, you saw
yeah,
swap roles, and then in 3, you saw like did a bit of each.
yeah. Because it's an escape room. It's a communications game. Now we didn't kind of play it properly because you're supposed to use the little in-game radio voice chatty thing for immersion's sake, and that we just went flat out on Discord on that one.
Yeah,
But the idea is that I'd go into a room. There'd be a series of markings on the room where I'd have to describe, like, oh, there's a plinth, there's a book, this is what's in the book. Here's some objects, and then Ram goes to find the corresponding thing in the first one in his little library. And then in the second one, um, I don't know. One of the puzzles we did in this last one was like a nightmare style grid, wasn't it? Where I would be given a pattern, a rotating pattern, like a sword, hammer, whatever, and then Ram would have to navigate across the board in that order,
hmm.
or it was something to that effect.
Yes, I
And
remember the bit
then
you mean. Yes,
yeah, we somehow managed to brute force that one. Once we figured out how the puzzle actually
we
worked.
didn't brute force. You're putting yourself down there. We figured out how it worked, and then we did the puzzle. That's not brute forcing, okay? There were
Trust
some
me, mate.
there were some bits we brute force, but that bit wasn't brute forcing.
Oh god, don't. Are we talking about when we're saying actually brute force? And that was the graveyard one, wasn't it?
No,
Was
the
the
Grave one we worked it out. We actually figured that one out.
that was like Ram wrote an entire he wrote an entire book, right? Like
No,
seriously, like,
no.
there was this puzzle we were going through it, and
The one you're thinking of is where we had to swap the discs.
oh god,
That was the
that one
one
was
where I had literally had got bits of paper and I'd had what. So basically, what it was, you've had like slots on either side of this like big obelisky thing, and you had to put matching discs. So what the discs matched to, you had like half a like we both had like half a key, and we had to swap discs back and forth to make sure we had the right ones each side. But the key was you could only swap discs that paired up to this key with this key.
yeah,
And so you had to sort of like do this like sort of like constant rotation. But then it's been like a bit like a it's the same principle as like the Tower of Hoy game. You know, where you have the little pyramid with like 3 blocks, and you
mhm.
move back and forth. You just keep swapping back and forth, and eventually you'll move them across. It's basically the same principle as that. Um, But
Yeah, I just think we took the really long-winded route
yeah,
of
we did.
let's just try everything and see what sticks.
We were baffled by that one for quite some time until we suddenly
I
figured
mean, it
out.
was it was kind of obvious what we had to do, but it was like, wait, shit, if I hand you this and then you hand me that, and it was a case of like, because I mean, I remember like I can remember saying to you like, yeah, we're gonna have to double that up, man. Like, so I'm gonna send it to you, then you'll have to send it back to me, and then I'll send you something else, and then
Yeah,
I'll send it, and it was just really,
yeah.
there was
You got the
quite a lot
trick
of.
very quickly. You figured it out very quickly, but I was like, I don't think that's possible.
Well, but that was the problem, wasn't it? Trying to actually figure out how to make that work. Because
Yeah,
when you just saying it, you're like, why would you do that? Because if I've already got the one that I need, why would I send you it back?
yeah. But you
And
have
then
to.
trying to figure out in what order you have to send it back to. I mean, it's somewhat flexible, but still, it was just such a nightmare to figure out what had to go next. The idea of a lot of the puzzles in the We Were Here series, they are very simple, but sometimes execution can just really screw with you.
Yeah. The main thing is because a lot of them are visual based and you're talking to each other. You can't see what the
Yeah.
other person can see. So you are stuck for that person making deductions and so forth. The amount of
I
time,
will.
see, what Skaz didn't get to enjoy this because he hasn't watched the edits yet, but I got to edit this. The amount of times where one of us would describe to the other something, and that person would point out the wrong thing, and go, "Oh yeah, I see it."
Yep, yep. Because I remember there was a book puzzle, wasn't there? And I was sure it was with the projector, or that there was a series of things on a wall.
Yes,
And
yes.
oh my god! And I'm sat there thinking, I've got this, and I'm certain I've got it. I'm certain I've got the right book. And then I'm like, wait, Ram, is it this one? And is this one next to it? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, motherfucker, that's the wrong book. And so then go and look at the other book, and it's like, okay, fair
Yeah,
enough.
these puzzles are very easy if you can see both screens. Then it all makes so much sense. It's so obvious
Yeah,
what you
yeah.
have to do, and it's
I will
just
say though, as far as like communicating like certain shapes and things, for the most part, we were on the ball, and we have been since the first game. Once we
yeah,
figured out what we had to do, our ability to just describe random bullshit shapes
yes,
is fucking
yeah.
fantastic.
It's a man taking a piss up against a duck. Yeah, I've got the one. Yeah, I found it.
With an upside down kettle on his head.
Yeah, yeah,
You're
it's
like,
the one that
okay.
looks like a shit. Oh yeah, I know which one you mean.
Oh, it's just that was
I,
some of the
I,
descriptions
I,
so funny.
my personal favorite is the one because this game adds an extra dimension because at one point you have to deal with sounds,
Oh
describing
God,
sounds to people,
no,
and
mate, that was.
I got to do lots of sound impressions.
That was oh my god, man, that puzzle, that was right towards the end, and I was like, "Are we even on the right track, or are we just guessing this shit?" And sorry, mate, I do not know how we managed to finish that thing. You were describing what we were doing, we translated it, I was putting it into the machine. It was coming through. I didn't get killed. It was phenomenal. Thanks for that. But I had no fucking idea how that puzzle actually. Because I was like, no, I'm sure that's not how that sound went. No, I'm sure it's supposed to be this. And it's like Ram's like, no, 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 this is what it's supposed to be. I'm like, fine, fuck it.
Yeah, I mean, I had an advantage because although I didn't have basically you had like there was a thing talking to you and it was giving you symbols and sounds, and I had a book which translated them, and we then translated an answer back, and basically I was able to some brute force is the wrong word, but what I was able to do was very quickly narrow down the possible options because it was
Mhm.
clearly asking you a question, and there was only so many sort of questions you could ask, and that then narrowed down the amount of answers you could have. So that made it
Sure.
infinitely easier once you knew that. So that made it a lot simpler, and I think that's how you meant to do it. But that was great fun. I think the one, what I think interesting about this one is they clearly sort of like learned from number three. Three was made the puzzles too big to the point where your brain just couldn't take them all in.
Yeah, there was far too much going on for you to actively hold on to it. There was like a puzzle I think that was close to the We Were Here Nightmare Mountain puzzle, which
Yes,
was the I
Jack in
don't
the
know if you're
Box
thinking maybe.
thing. When you went to that magic box.
I was thinking more, when we had to climb up that wall on either side.
Yeah, that's what I mean. The magic,
Yeah, with the colored switches. Oh my god, that was oh dude.
But that was a lot. Actually, once we figured out the sort of like got the idea of what we had to do, it actually was a lot simpler.
Yeah,
And it helped
yeah,
that we could see each other's side, so you could visually see what the other person had to do. That made it an awful lot simpler. Whereas on
yeah.
the mountaintop, you couldn't see the movements of each side. You couldn't like guide anybody. That made it a lot easier to follow.
Yeah, man. I will say, you managed to get us through a lot of those puzzles fucking
No,
really
you
well
really put
because
yourself down, Scotia. You had a lot of ideas and a lot of things. You've worked an awful lot of stuff out, so you really put yourself down.
I was fried during that fucking session, man. I was like, we're not gonna make it, man. We're gonna fucking
Yeah.
die here
No,
again.
yeah. The only puzzle I didn't like, I don't like puzzles that are timed. And there's one puzzle
Oh,
with like
that. Oh, the making the medicine thing.
2 hours we spent on that in total.
Wow, that's
Actually,
insane.
might have been over 2 hours now. Actually, think about it. In total, we spent on that puzzle. Even the second day, when so basically we basically played like sort of like an hour and a half trying to get through this puzzle, and couldn't go. We had to like call it quits for the evening because we were trying to sort of stop at a logical place to stop. We had to call it quits for the evening because we're a bit brain. Next day, we seemed to figure out really quickly. I thought we figured out we got like there fairly sharpish and moved on. So, oh, that was not so bad. We spent like 45 minutes doing it the next day. It didn't
No, it's
seem at the time.
nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like it's an overly long puzzle. It isn't an overly long puzzle, but I mean, like, if you fuck it up, you have to go all the way back to the start.
Yeah. Yes.
All the way back to the start. And it's not like you can speed up the process any. Like, if you're waiting for something, you have to wait for it.
Yeah. And
If it's not
yeah.
ready, it's not ready. The puzzle doesn't go ahead. And so
Yeah.
every time you have to reset, you have to sit through all of that again.
At least that puzzle was set up in a way that you could just at any point just cancel and start again.
I am so thankful.
Yeah. Because that would have got quite boring if you had to wait for the whole timer to run out every single time.
Yeah.
That was the sort. I mean, also, I don't think there were very many sudden death puzzles in this one. Normally, a lot of the We Were Here ones had like the first We Were Here had quite a few sort of sudden death puzzles where, like the first, like very early on, you were in that room that filled with water.
Yeah.
When We Were Here, and I think in the second one there was that stairwell that filled with lava.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
That was fun.
you had to describe the dice nets, didn't you, to me, so I could find the correct dice to open the gate for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was fun. Yeah, so this game had apart from the underwater bit, I can't think of any other sudden death bits that's in We Were Here Forever. Oh, the
Mate,
graves.
how we got through that?
The graves when you.
Oh
broke
yeah,
the graves.
the graves were pretty.
Yeah, you got haunted.
Yeah, hearing the voices was fun.
And in the game.
Yeah. I was like, hey, the voices in my head sound like the ones in the game.
I also like how this one I saw like pulled the story together from the previous games.
Yeah, considering the main bulk of the story comes from a like a puppet show.
Yeah.
In the first one, like right at the end, the game tells you like a fable or like a kid's story of a king and his queen and the jester and there's all this other fluff. That's one of the end puzzles of the first game. They've managed to weave it into a full blown story and it works really, really well.
Have you watched the little mini films they made?
No, I haven't yet.
You need to check those out. They're only about 20 minutes long for the whole lot, and it's really nicely done. It basically it ties in with the game. Basically gives you the sort of like they were released in advance. The game coming out to give like a background story.
Yeah.
Of the game, and fills up. They're really nicely done. I like them do that sort of tie and stuff.
I'm gonna be honest, man. I like I said, I couldn't believe when I first played it. I really thought we were gonna bounce. I really didn't think we were gonna be able to do it. However, man, this is easily one of my favorite series, like multiplayer series out there. It's fucking fantastic. It looks great. It plays great. The puzzles aren't too brutal. Story's fun.
Yeah.
It's
a decent length.
Really glad we went through it.
Yeah, it's a decent length.
I'm really glad we went through them. But is this one the last one?
It's definitely. I think
the story seemed to kind of. It end.
But it felt like it was an ending.
Yeah.
Well, the next one, the new We Were Here, is set in like a theme park. Very similar sort of style, but it's not like set in because it's Castle. It's either Rock or Rook. If it's Castle Rock, it's set in We Were Here, and the new one is not set there. But given that the antagonist who has started off as like a very minor character in the first one, you blink and you miss him. Who's gradually gets developed and fleshed out for other games, basically escapes properly and goes like elsewhere. It wouldn't surprise me if he turns up again in the latter game.
Mm-hmm.
But no, a really neat series, really fun stuff. If you've got you and a mate, and you can somewhat talk and communicate with each other,
Which is kind of hard for a lot of people these days, but you know, hey.
And you also can get and also you can sort of look at the fact where you clearly can tell one of the person's getting quite annoyed because the other person hasn't figured it out. It's like, Ram, I'm telling you, we need to do this. I'm not sure, but I'm telling you, we need to do this. Oh, okay. Oh, that's right.
This is the
I told you that.
option.
I told you that 20 minutes ago.
Sat there like rocking backwards and forwards. Like, for fuck's sake, man.
The best what I've learned about We Were Here is I very quickly overcomplicate things. I'll have an idea of how something's supposed to go, and it'll be incredibly complicated, and I'll latch on to that's the correct way to do it, and I won't give up. And then it turns out to be something really simple, and I'll go, oh, that's actually quite simple. And Paul Scales going, yes, it was. Yes, it was.
We had this sorted pretty early on, man. Just, are you perhaps referencing the pipe puzzle?
No, the pipe puzzle. That's the only time in the whole game I could tell Skaz was getting annoyed with me. I could hear it in his voice. He was getting annoyed with me in that puzzle because I was. The truth of the pipe puzzle game is that pipe puzzle was too simple.
Well, yeah. Once you realize, so because initially, it seemed like it was going to be harder, but that was because that was my fault. I fucked up. So there's a puzzle where you get you know, like the old water puzzles where you have to get water from one area to the next side or whatever, and you get different shapes, different length pipes and stuff. Well, these pipes are shared. These lengths are shared, and it tells you on a key what each pipe does. So, like a D will cover like 3 blocks. Like an A will be a block. B will be like a letter T or something like that, you know. And so look, it will actively tell you exactly where it can possibly fit. And so you can kind of, if you kind of draw a grid, you get an idea of where these things are supposed to go. And the initial pull, I took one too many pieces. I didn't realize they were shared. So it was a little bit kind of like, what? What do you mean you can't do anything with it? And I said, oh, hang on, can I? Because was this after we'd done the tomb bit?
This was after we'd done the underwater bit.
Oh, right. So it's probably completely fried at this point. Yeah. So, well, no, because we already done the tomb puzzle with the going around. And,
that was ages ago.
Where we had to get everything like you could trade things to and from, and so it turns out you could trade the pipes to and from. You didn't have to, but if one person had pulled the wrong pipe, you'd trade it back. And so once I realized I had the wrong pipe, I was like, oh, okay, I see how this goes. They've literally just keyed it out on the grid. Like, this is the pipe you've got. This is the shape. This is where it could possibly go. And in my head, I was like, yeah, this goes there. This goes there. This goes there. That's the only way it could possibly go. Just go.
Because what you're
it might not have been the only way.
What you're meant to do is, as on each side you had like an input and an output for like an orange and a blue. And what you meant to, and as you like say for example, I connect up one next to my orange and 2 onto like symbols up. On Skaz's side, he would see that light up with the orange, and then he would like connect up, and then it would bounce back to my side. So the idea was meant to make these sort of link between you. That's what you're meant to do. That is the correct way to do it. And the first puzzle that you do that, you have to think a little bit about it because you don't need all that. There's more connections than there are pipes.
Yeah.
Latter puzzles, there's just enough connections, just enough pipes to do everything.
It got so much easier the further you went, didn't it?
Yeah, because there's only a finite number of ways you could set these links up. So it basically, whereas I was trying to sort of like, I thought I've got the idea of how this is meant to work. I'll now need to work out which way these are connecting to do it up, which is what you're meant to do, really. the truth of the matter is, you don't have to do that because there's only so many ways you can put these in. You could we literally just randomly pop them in, and eventually we find the right combination.
Yep.
And that was not how it was intended to be done. The mistake they made was there was not enough. They made the same amount of connections as there were pipes, so you just didn't need.
Yeah.
There was
once you evenly shared them out, it was almost just like I'll take one. Like I looked at my board and I was like, right, that'll fit. Like, what kind of shapes will fit here? That'll fit there. That'll fit there. That'll fit there. I can't overlap pipes, so those ones are out.
It's a jigsaw, basically.
Bam, there you go. These are what I need. Pulled them from the machine, slapped them on the grid. Ram's like, okay, here's what I'm doing. It's like, yeah, mate, just go.
It was a jigsaw, so it wasn't actually necessary. You basically there was no like leftover pipes. You had the exact right number of pipes you need to do this job. And so it was the actual combinations were so few that actually it was just brute force really quickly. That was sort of one possible.
Dude, can I be honest with you? I almost felt like we cheated on that one.
We can't. Well, but that's all their own fault. They should have put less pipes in or more connections. Or made it so that you had to have not a symmetric sharing of pipes. You had to have one person to different pipes to the other. But they made it way too easy. And trouble is, at that point, I've been wired up to more complicated puzzles, and so I got to it. So what I found was correct, but I overcomplicated in my head, which is a thing I've discovered I do, and it happens all the time in these weird here games. Like, we need to balance that rock over there. It's like, no, Scar, no, Ram, you just put it on it. It'll be fine. You don't need to balance it. But I think we do. No, Ram, you don't. You don't. Just.
Yeah, but I mean, if let me just get my protractor. Look, if you do this.
Having said that, my bits of paper saved us an awful lot. That mirror puzzle.
Oh, mate, I am so glad you do that because I was like, shit, I'm going to need a notebook because obviously my memory is shot. Right? If I get given like a 4-digit code or a sequence of like shapes or whatever, like you do often in We Were Here, I'm like, oh shit! Like I could walk away and completely forget the sequence. So there were times where Ram had to hold a sequence for both of us because I just couldn't do it.
I went through an awful lot of paper doing that game.
Like when we had to do that machine. With the projection. Oh my fucking god!
What about the machine was at the start? Oh yeah, I don't know what you mean. Yeah, not the
one with the Jacob's ladder on it.
Yeah. That machine, the other projector machine. Yeah, it's like right. You need to do this now. You need to do that. Right. Here's your sequence, guys. What you need to do. Here's the next 10 steps you need to do. It's like,
yeah, like I can't. Yeah, I could not hold, the steps in my. I just couldn't. If you remember, that's the same thing I had with university. I can remember, like, if you give me a complicated phrase to say, I will remember that a damn sight easier than I will, like, this, then this, then this, then this. And it's like, that makes no... You know, like, how you spell because? Big alphabets can't always use small exits.
Yes.
Like, why the fuck is it I can remember that? But if I try and spell it out one letter at a time without thinking of that, I can't spell it.
I also like the fact that it's the only word, as far as I'm aware, that has an acronym to spell it. It's like they looked at all the words. I thought, because it's the most complicated one, let's find out an acronym for it that people can use to spell it.
No, this word is bullshit. Okay, here's what we're gonna do.
Yeah, not anti-totalitarianism. That's fine. We don't need an acronym for that. It's fine. But because...
no one's ever going to need to spell that.
No, exactly. Because you definitely need a word for it. Yeah.
How else are you going to explain things to the plebs? It's because.
Now let's see how Scars. Let's see how much Scars was what I taught them. So Scars, there are some cavemen sat round a fire. What are their names?
No. Oh. So it's funny actually because I saw the same kind of puzzles. My boys were playing like it must have been like a Half-Life mod, and it was literally just there was such a simple puzzle. It was like a 1 in 3, and my brain just went, "Yeah, dude, I can't hold that information." I was like, "What? What are you talking about, dude? There's nothing here."
Yeah.
The great thing
about We Were Here is at some point in the future, my sister's going to watch these episodes, and she's going to come into me and she's going to say, "How did it take you two that long to figure that out?"
Oh mate, I've had that before.
You have an advantage where you can see both. When you can see both sides, it makes sense. We can't.
So I had one of my mates. I can't remember what game I was playing, and one of my mates was like, "Yeah, I figured that out like 20 minutes ago." I was like, "Fuck off, dude! Just brute forced it. That's
Yeah.
fine." But no, I mean they're really fun games. As I say, I thought we might have bounced off that one, but that was really, really, really fun. Really fun.
Yeah. I was a little bit dubious when I suggested it because I thought maybe Scars won't particularly like it, but you went for it. And it's like, I'm glad we both enjoyed it.
Yeah.
After being put
As I
off by
said,
number
I
3.
mean, I was a bit cautious at first when we first jumped into that first puzzle in the first game. I was like, "Oh, this is getting a bit ropey."
Yeah. Yeah. But yes, you look forward to that. 17 episodes going to be broadcast over the whole Christmas period, starting on
17
Tuesday.
episodes, and the 7 of those episodes are the last fucking puzzle.
Now the last puzzle is probably I think it's the longest episode. It's the last puzzle. It's yeah. So you get to enjoy those. Look forward to watching them. It's mostly an episode per puzzle, roughly.
It's like, look, guys, okay, look, and I know you're gonna watch it and you're gonna figure out the puzzle really quick. Feel free to email fucking what you think of us and our abilities to solve puzzles to, yeah, I know we're thick at randnerds.co.uk.
Oh, I'm going to set that up now, aren't I? Yeah, I know we're thick. Yeah.
You dumb bastards.
I'll set up the email and set up the auto forward to the delete bin.
Good man.
So I'm too thick to send it to read it.
And then, mate, and then we'll end up getting like, why are we getting things come through saying that the email account is full? What do you mean it's full? Yeah, the bin is just completely packed.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I forgot to put the auto delete on because I'm thick.
Fucking everything just bounces. Yeah, guys, you're using up way too much server space. On what? Emails. What?
That will just explain to you how you should do the puzzles. Like, these people do realize we've completed the game at this point. They do understand
They've written
that.
essays. Why are you guys so dumb? If you look at this pixel on this screen at this timestamp, you dumb fuck. Essay.
So, again, you do realize we've finished the game now, so it's a bit late to tell us this.
Yeah, but
I
don't actually.
This puzzle's really easy.
It's like I don't even think they're like just telling us, like as if I've actually already read the emails. I've gone to the future. That's why my brain's so all over the place. Right, I've gone to the future. I've read the emails. Look, I get it. It was really simple. We didn't notice the tells. I know. We have finished the game. Should we have noticed all these things? Yes, we should have done, but we didn't. We're not that smart.
One of our videos on our channel, I think it's the Project Eden. Is it no the Eden Project? Yeah, Project Eden videos. It's a puzzle game I played and I let's play it and put it on the channel. And one of the comments, one of the videos is like an hour and 20 minutes long, I think, might be longer. And one of the comments is like, "Oh yeah, I could play this level in less than an hour." And I'm like, what do you actually want me to do with this? I've completed it now. I've done. What do you want me to sort of like come back to you with? Like, well done.
I mean, yep, that puzzle was fantastic, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, what exactly output are you expecting from this? I mean, you're bragging about completing a puzzle, like a 20-year-old puzzle game. It's like, okay, so did I. Just took a bit longer. All right.
Like, yeah, but I could have done all of these other things in the same amount of time.
Just think to yourself, and this is true of any comment. Think to yourself the amount of effort and time it takes you to come up with a comment and write it, and ask yourself, is it worth it? And the answer is no. Don't post it.
11 out of 10 times, the answer is no.
Exactly.
Just don't.
And don't comment on that statement. Yes, we understand maths, and we know that's wrong.
Sometimes.
We don't need a mathematical proof why 11 doesn't go into 10.
Look, the groove is, guys, right, you're going to like, yeah, but my comment's really, really good. Look, no.
My comment's going to make these people rethink their entire lives. No.
Let's see. That would be the 1 over 10. I don't care.
Yeah, exactly.
Just stop.
Yeah. He's overflowed into the comment section.
This is just how it goes. Look, guys, here's the trick. But I could be doing this. Yeah, I know you could. Just don't. Just don't. Look, take your comments, go to Reddit or something, or somewhere. Just go somewhere where you're just going to get blasted out in noise. No one cares.
Barnside, please do comment on our channel. We do appreciate it. Oh. Right.
Look, I can only say that because no one comments, and you know it because we
We had
produce.
someone comment on our last video, and I haven't gone back and sorted it out yet. He said, "Can you please put timestamps in these?" I thought, if I put timestamps in these, you might as well just put timestamps to the end.
Was it Middlemeister?
No, it wasn't.
There's the start. It's the end.
It's like here's the end of the video. That's all you really need. Just before the outro.
Congratulations.
Yeah, that's all you really need. Just well, if you do. Now, here's a question for you on YouTube. If you jump to a point on the video, does it count? Because obviously they analyze how much of the video you've watched. Does it just like go by? Well, you're watching it here. You must have already watched the first like hour. It doesn't just go by the time. Oh, that's a shame.
No, I think it will. The metrics will have a
time.
Yeah, it'll have a flat like that, so it'll go.
Oh,
up,
that's a shame.
And then because if you notice when you fast forward and rewind on YouTube, it's also got like the most popular moments since you have that peak in the in the title. So I just imagine it just. No. It's a flat line, motherfucker.
Yeah, least popular across all time.
Can't wait. Hey, I'll take it. Worst podcast in history. I'll have it.
Yeah, there must be an award for that.
Yeah, probably.
We've made it to 256 episodes. But that's the worst podcast in history. Can't be bad.
Yeah, mate, what can I say?
Just think, if an average podcast is about 2 hours long, say, on average, that's like 512 hours. That's like 2.5 weeks of non-stop drivel that you can enjoy. So check out the backlog, guys.
I know that they say that everything on the internet is brain rot, but this is quite literally.
Yeah, this is like if everything on the internet is brain rot, this is like the brain rot of brain rot. This is just the sort of like the sort of dregs. This is what you listen to after the brain is rotted away.
You're already a cabbage, so they put this on you just to torture you that little bit more.
Yeah. Have I told you we got that new contract with Guantanamo Bay?
Oh fucking hell!
I did tell you that, didn't I? That's the only way this channel keeps afloat.
Well, I didn't realise. I thought they said that we were a bit too beyond, mate.
No,
I thought it was a little too hardcore for them.
UN got involved in human rights, so they had to scale it back a little bit. So we are acceptable that we are acceptable to punish people with.
Oh right.
Yeah.
I really did think we were a bit too much.
Too much.
I mean, I haven't heard anything from Kim yet.
No, that Bind Dinosaurs out. That was too much. We are the acceptable alternative. We've just about skipped underneath the Human Rights Council.
Just about for now.
Just. I mean, it's a fine line, but hopefully that keeps the lights on at least.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. Appreciate
it. No. Right then. So.
And to the geezer strapped in the chair, don't worry, it'll end eventually. I mean, you probably will before we do, but keep going.
Well, yeah, they keep needing us to make stuff, so. Your punishment is to watch the whole Round Nerds backlog on loop.
Oh, mate. Do you think anyone would survive up to the end of the first run?
No. You get put in a room. You have as much food and water as you want. There's a comfy bed, but the only thing is there's a constantly piped in Round Nerds podcast. You can't turn it off. You can't mute it. Nothing did it. You have everything in this room you need. You've got basically all luxury. But there's also a pistol loaded with a bullet. I don't think most people have made it past episode 20.
20? Wow. I'd have maybe given the first 5. But the first few are all right.
Yeah, the first few are all right.
They're kind of devolved into madness.
Yeah.
Anyway. No, when did we stop? When did we stop Weird News?
Episode 50 odd.
Then they'll end up shooting themselves at episode 50 because let's be honest, that's the most interesting part of the podcast.
We stopped it. Everybody hated it, apparently.
Well, they're wrong.
They're wrong. They're wrong. Anyway. So, I've also been playing a game this week. I've been playing a game. Month, yeah, something like that. Something like that. I've been playing a game called Telling Lies. Do you remember a few years ago I talked about a game called Her Story?
Yes.
This is basically the spiritual successor to her story. It's
Right.
the same guy who made it, Sam Barlow, is the person who made it. He pretty much did it mostly single-handed, from what I understand. Um, and it basically plays exactly the same to her story play. So the general idea is you've gained access to game starts. So the game starts with a little cutscene of this woman. She runs up to her apartment and she goes in. She plugs in, gets up a laptop and plugs in this hard drive. And this laptop boots up and it's got like this XP version of Kali Linux running on it. And she plugs in this hard drive that's an NSA hard drive. And she has a bit of software that can read it. And what it is that she's got access to this interface that basically allows her to search for keywords. And those keywords will search all these videos that's on this hard drive. There's 170 videos in total on this hard drive. And and they're all transcribed. So you type in a keyword, it'll look through all the dialogue on all the videos, and it'll give you the top 5. It'll tell you how many it found, but it'll only show you the top 5. And so basically this interface is basically you can play these videos and watch them. And the general idea is you are somewhat against the clock. The game starts on the laptop, because at the laptop it starts at midnight. The game ends at 5 a.m. on the laptop. But but there's a little bit to that I'll come on to. So the interface is the same. You can search words, and if they appear in the dialogue, they'll be found. So you get top 5 results. So the videos themselves, they are mostly recordings of video calls, a bit like us now. It's like if someone recorded each of our webcams and our mics separately, these videos are one side of a conversation. Sorry to the audience, I'll just bang the microphone. So when you watch a video, you're watching just half a conversation, and you'll have to sort of tease out of, and all subtitles as well to help you along. You have to sort of tease out of these videos the keywords that helps you find the other side of the conversation, because you won't know who people are talking to necessarily. You can kind of twig. After a while, you'll start to twig. You can work out who people are talking to. So you're trying to find these keywords. You're trying to narrow search down, and you're trying to narrow it down so you can find out what's gone on, the sort of general sort of plotline of the story. So just to come back to how the timing works on this. So the timer you have is really not really a timer, although it says
is it per action or per search?
A little bit
per
more,
guess?
sort of, a little bit more complicated. It's about to think of it like a resource of 300 minutes. Because here's the thing, time does not advance when you're not playing a video, and it advances when you're playing videos. But how much the time advance is not based on the video length, it's based on how important it is to the story. So you can have a video that's 2 minutes long that will advance time by 15 minutes. And if a video that's 10 minutes long, it only advances by a minute, or not at all. So it's
interesting, interesting tell, I suppose.
Yeah, and it took me ages to realise that, because I didn't, because I was playing along, and as time goes on, you'll get little achievements and stuff. So for playing as hit the sort of threshold of hours. I did get slightly stuck towards the end where I couldn't get past 4:45 because I didn't have enough videos. Also, while you're watching this, what's a quite nice little detail is you can see your character's reflection in the screen, which is also a video playing off. So it's like you're watching the reflection of the screen. It's all moving and stuff. Every so often, little random events will happen. So her partner will come past and apologise for flushing the loo too loudly, or asking if she's coming to bed, or the cat will jump on the keyboard and mess up the keyboard and put random things in the search. There's also a solitaire game you can play in this as well, which is quite nice. Doesn't advance time. So there's a time advance how long the videos are, which is quite a neat mechanic. So it's sort of it's how important they are to the story. So the actual story itself, I will keep quite vague-ish, on the basis that the whole point of the game is to explore the story. So I don't want to spoil too much. But the stuff I'll talk about is stuff that you'll work out very rapidly. This stuff is all stuff I worked out within the first half hour, 45 minutes of the game. And just to put in perspective, as I say, this game is air quotes 5 hours long. I spent nearly 10 hours playing this game.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because there are about 10 hours worth of videos in there. Admittedly, quite a bit of that time was playing solitaire, but we'll look past that bit. So it's following four main characters. There's this like bearded man, and you work out very quickly on he looks a bit like you. No, he doesn't.
He's the murderer.
Well, you work quite quickly on he's actually working for the FBI. He's been tasked to infiltrate some like sort of like eco warrior group, and you're watching. He's basically going undercover the other side of the country to his wife. You also there's a woman who is like he's sort of like you find a video quite early on that's his link into the group. There's like a cam girl who appears quite often, and there's this man's wife. These are like the four main characters who most of the videos are, because the majority of these videos are these two-way conversations between these characters, a lot between this bearded chap and his wife, or this other girl, or this cam girl. In fact, most of the characters. There's quite a few side characters. This is what I mean. It's like it's a bigger scope to her story. That her story had one actor in it. This has got lots of actors. Like to the point where they have like full on. They set up like a whole like you go to like a rock concert type thing. Like they're holding out like a park. And it's like a crowd. I'm not talking a heaving crowd. But there's enough crowd to make it feel like a actual group gathering going on. There's some and generally speaking, all the actors and stuff they've got are really good. I have to give a real shout out to the one who plays his daughter, because his daughter at the time. So I looked up because this game was released in 2019. The actress was born 2012. She was 7 years old when the game released, but obviously the game would have been made before that, so she's probably like 5 or 6. Mm-hmm. And there are there's like a 10-minute long video where her dad, who's the bearded man, is telling her a story, and you got from her perspective, she's just staring at the camera for like 6-7 minutes while he tells the story, which you can't hear. I mean, she pulls off really nicely. Very impressive. I would like to actually know how they did this. Did they actually like film these people simultaneously? Like do like a recording of each other's screens as they acted out and did the scene? Is that what they did? I'm wondering if they might have done in order to get like the proper reaction times for the dialogue. I also I'm kind of tempted to pull some of these videos, because all these videos are just video files. You can actually open up the folder. There's article videos, and they're all there in the hard drive. I'm tempted to pull into like DaVinci, like two of them together, and like sort of like line them up to sort of like see how well timed they are.
Can I be honest? I love it when assets like stuff like that is just a raw asset in a folder in a game.
Yeah.
Just a random note. If there's a video in a game, put the video in an actual video, not like an in-game rendered thing. If it's an actual video file, give me access to the fucking video file.
Yeah.
If it's music, give me access to the sound files, please. God,
don't hide it. Don't hide it away in like a data bin somewhere. So as I say, the basic storyline of what's going on, you'll work out very quickly. So what you're spending your time doing is actually just sort of like putting flesh onto the bones, sort of filling up, sort of like little. There are some twists and turns along the way. There are some videos go, oh shit, but in general, the storyline is it's obvious. You can sort of tell where it's going, particularly if you find out stuff like later. You find some later videos, you can tell what happened after like some events. You can sort of guess what happened and so forth. You can sort of fiddle your way along. And also, I have to say the writing's really good. The dialogue feels mostly natural, as natural as like an acted thing can. But the way the characters act and talk, particularly when they're not responding, you can just see this, because all the time you're just seeing expressions on their face because they're listening to what someone else says. They're having to act to somebody else. It feels very natural, and some of the little videos that come up feel like something you could imagine someone making randomly on like a phone and so forth. Really nicely done. There's obviously a little bit of, oh, he's just said that line of dialogue just so you can pick up the keyword you need. There's a little bit of that going along. It's like, what do you mean I'm like so-and-so? It's like, okay, yeah, I've got that keyword now. There's a little bit of that going on, but in general, they're really good. I mean, there's 10 hours worth of videos in the game, of which I watched, so there's 170 videos total. I watched 137 of them by the end of the game. So I got majority of them, which I'm quite pleased with. Those the keyword hunting. As a general, they're quite. When you sort of like pick something that sounds like quite obvious, generally you can sort of like you'll find out something decent once some of the keywords are quite obvious. There's quite a few red herrings though. There was one which like this looks like a really important word. They're talking about it, and I put it in and it came up like 4 videos. And it's like mentioned this like what seems a really important thing gets mentioned like 4 times. Some even just once, which again they seem important but they're not. And you may only so. Oh, sorry, brain just got dead. Yeah, so it's overall a really nice game. Sorry, you could just my brain just had a pop on. My brain what hit it in there, hit it in. There are some issues I do have with it. Is this I didn't realise right at the start of the game how it works is when you watch a video, so when you search for a keyword, and how it works, how the interface is, you'll search for a keyword, 5 videos will then pop up, and they'll tell you the length of the video, the time, and the date. So, because I was trying to work out the storyline, I had like a notepad document open next to me, and I was actually keeping up all the dates, all the video codes, and the time. And I was doing like a brief like sentence description of what happened. So as I paired them up, I could figure stuff out, and I could gradually get a timeline of what was going on. And I had another document over which was like a biography of all the main characters. I was adding like little bullet points in as stuff came out, so get an idea of what was going on. And I said, if you read my paragraph after the first night I played this game, I've read pretty much the entire story out. Because I said it's mostly fleshing everything out.
Yeah.
But here's the thing: you click to the 5 videos pop up, have the time dates, you go into one, it'll show you the video like on the left, and then there'll be showing the right, it'll show you like the key, like the sort of like all the keyframes in the video where this word is mentioned. What it doesn't tell you is if you click on the main video on the left, it jumps to the first keyword. So if a video, so you basically don't start. It doesn't start the video from the front. It starts it wherever that first keyword is mentioned.
Yeah, so just in case there's like a bucket of waffle.
Well, the trouble with that was.
But then if you could actually miss the context of by skipping around, you're going to miss the context of.
Funny you say that. So there was a video that I found really early on, and it was this guy's wife talking, and it jumps to her chatting away and talking about she's playing with some like looks like dolls, and she's sort of like doing. You think, what's she doing? What has she gone mad? It turns out that was like an 8-minute long video, and I come in like I jumped into the last like minute and a half, and if I'd rewound it back and watched them started, I would have got a shed load of story and stuff that I didn't work out till a lot later on. It basically explains a whole bit. And I did feel kind of sort of cheaped out for that, because like, well, I found it. You just chose up the show. And I could have just been around at any time. I just didn't realise I wasn't starting at the front, because I sort of assumed that if you've got the key bits on the right-hand side and the video on the left, that must start me at the front. That made logical sense to me. Not going to jump to the first thing.
That sounds kind of like I could be completely wrong in saying this. It reminds me somewhat of a Final Cut feature I'd seen before, and so I know some people who, when they are making documentaries, especially Griffin Hammond, who did is it Griffin? I think it's Griffin. Is it Hammond? I don't know. Either way, Griffin. He did Sriracha years and years and years ago. And when he finished with all the interviews, he put to every video there was a list of keywords. He basically transcribed the interview into the like the metadata of the file. And so when he was like, I remember highlight word, and then Final Cut would jump to that clip, that section where he's highlighted that thing. So it like almost makes me think of that.
Yeah.
Where you've got the keyword, you click the keyword, it takes you to the keyword, not to the start of the clip. It's almost like how you can edit in some programs. You can just type in the thing that you've transcribed, and it will take you to that section, so you can just drag it and drop it onto the timeline.
But that makes it somewhat clear that you do it. This doesn't make it clear that's what's happening.
Yeah, sure.
So I always had an issue where every time I was watching a video, I was basically adding to my list of keywords to search and gradually filling it up. And obviously, as time goes on, you gradually knock those off as you search them and find stuff, and maybe not find anything useful, and you'll knock them off slowly. Sometimes you'll think things are going to give you loads, or give you nothing. Sometimes you think someone's going to give you nothing, gives you loads. And I got to the stage where I watched a whole chunk of videos and I wasn't over the line. So I don't know what I'm missing. And this is the problem. It's like, do I go back and now try and find all these videos again, watch them all over again to try and find some more keywords? Or do I just go and look at the keyword list on Steam? And the answer was, I thought, I'm not going to go through this. And to be fair, I got the keyword list up and I got most of them. There was
Sure.
one which I'd thought about that I'd thought, oh, that's a good one, but I forgot to write down. It's like, oh shit, that would have been really useful. And in fact, it's a key one. This is like the video of the whole game if you find it. There was one which like, I don't even know why that's in there. I've never come across that word at all. And I searched for it and it brings up a load of stuff. It's like, but where would you figure this one out from? What video have I missed? Or have I not, what chain have I not gone through to get to it? A couple which was like, oh, actually, in hindsight, I should have picked those up and didn't. I sort of dismissed them as obvious. But I think in the overall was like two I needed to fight. There were like two which basically pushed me over the line. Game ended, and I found out what sort of happened. It's, as I said, it's a night. It was, and I was quite at the stage. I was quite happy for it to end, not in a nasty way, but I got my fill out of it. I didn't want any more.
No, I get you.
Yeah, so I finished it off, enjoyed it. Like I say, it's sort of issues about it. It's a lot bigger than Her Story. It's like 10 hours of videos versus Her Story is just 2 hours total ish. But overall, I would say I prefer Her Story. I think the trouble is, Her Story had a lot of twists and turns in it. Her Story, as you were like watching these videos, you would come up with theories about what was going on, and you'd find a video that support it or dismiss it, and you change over the course of the game. You change what you think was happening. You'd like, oh, actually, I think this is happening. This game is like that. The story's more, it's not really a mystery. It's more linear. So you figure out quite early on, you just do it more for the sake of exploring it. It's a bit like reading a summary of a film on Steam in a paragraph and then watching the film. You watch the film to get it all fleshed out, but you could just read something that tells you the same story. You know what's happening.
Are you saying that they've kind of missed the point or the bit that made the first, because the first one was considerably shorter, so you could get through it quicker, you could digest all of the different bits quicker, whereas this one's a bit, you've made it longer for the sake of making it longer, but longer doesn't always mean better. There isn't enough meat on the bone of the story to make it.
There's a lot of the meat on the bone. The trouble is the story's too straightforward. Not in a nasty way, but in the sense that it's not a mystery story. Her Story was a mystery story. This isn't. This is finding out what's gone on between these people, and there's a few things that come out answer to it, but there's nothing. Like I say, you'll have a good idea what's going on very quickly on. There isn't really many shocks or twists or turns in it. Whereas Her Story, you're like, I had a whole theory about what was going on in Her Story based on what I'd seen, and then I saw a video come out and just completely blow out the water and go, oh, I got that completely wrong. This doesn't really generate that sort of like thought processes. But still, actually, I still think it's a worthy game to play. If you liked Her Story, you'd like this, would be worthy to play. It's just not quite in the same league as Her Story. I much prefer Her Story. In fact, I'm planning to over Christmas, New Year's. I thought after I play this one, I'm planning to like have like a family like playing Her Story. Well, I like get my laptop up, plug into the TV so we can watch it big, and I'll like type the things in. I'll just say, "Hey guys, you tell me what to search." We'll search and we'll see if we can I'll let you guys as a group work out what's going on.
Yeah,
I think that could be quite fun. It's all like sketching. Obviously, I know what's going on, but I'll also act like a DM as it were and watch and figure it out. I think that could be quite fun.
sure.
Yeah, but I have to say, production quality this is a lot higher. Whereas Her Story is like one set, one room, one actress. This is multiple sets, outside shooting, outside filming, lots of actors. I mean, I didn't recognise most of the actors, but I didn't look on IMDb, and they're not like, we're not talking Tom Cruise here, but they're not unheard of people either. But yeah, very good. And again, shout out to the one who plays Dawn. Amazing actress for her age. Really, really well done. But yeah, I do think it's worth a play. If you like the sort of game. I don't know what you class it as. Is it like a detective game, I suppose? Visual, not really visual because it's so random. I'm not sure how you class it. It's really in genre of its own. But yeah, give it a shout. Marvellous. Right,
makes me think of that scene out of Sneakers, to be honest, if you've ever seen that.
Oh, I think I saw it a long time.
When they're trying to break, when you said how sometimes it feels like they've just randomly said something to get a keyword in.
Yeah.
And there's a section in Sneakers where they're trying to break an electronic lock or a voice lock, And so this woman has to go and hang out with this guy it's his voice that opens the door. And they've got a phrase that they need to open the door. And they have to get him to say it. And so she's randomly trying to coax these random keywords out of him, like through this conversation. Um, and then like she's wired up, so they're recording it, and then they're going to cut it together to try and make it seem somewhat normal, so that they can fool this electronic lock. Um, yeah. Also, could have made me think of Orwell a little bit.
Yes, actually, yes.
I like Orwell.
Orwell's a good game.
I still haven't played Orwell 2.
You've not played Orwell 2? You surprised
Not
me.
not that I remember. Not that I
No.
remember. I don't know. I'm kind of intimidated by it, if I had to be honest.
I mean, it's bigger than Orwell 1, but not by much. It's
Well, I have that from time to time. I was like, I really enjoyed the first one. Shit, what if I don't like the second one? Or what if I? It's this weird thing I have. I was like, well, what if I fail?
I have the same thing with like if I really enjoy like a TV series, I'll be really nervous about watching the next one. So I've enjoyed it to this point. Do I risk ruining it?
Yeah, that's it.
And
That's
I was
it.
like, I just don't want to take the. Or I also like, whilst the series is unwatched, it's always there for me to watch. Once I've seen it, it's over.
That's it. It's done.
And so it really puts me off like watching things I really enjoy.
I get that.
Yeah,
I get that. I mean, I have that sometimes. I have that sometimes with games too, where I'm sat there going, I'm going to play this, but I swear, like, I don't know. I have it with, and it's funny actually, because the last episode you said how I don't like stealth games.
Hmm.
Stealth games are one of the ones that really fuck with me. And it's not that, like, I might not enjoy it. It's a case of, like, I'm going to fuck this up a lot. Because, especially early stealth games, for example, like Deus Ex, you think you're not being seen by an enemy, but they've got fucking, like, perfect vision 5 miles away. They've got your fucking face. They know what you look like, where you are, and all their mates are going to find you in a heartbeat. It's one of those, I'm going to get caught. I'm going to get caught. I don't want to do this. I'm going to get caught. I'm going to get caught. I'm going to get caught. And then you just kind of like
Is that
freeze back.
flashbacks to your Witten days?
Yeah, pretty much, mate. Pretty much. So, oh shit, man! If I do this, like, because I'm running through all of the stuff in my head. Like, should I do this? Is this the right move? Maybe I should go this way. This is probably the better route. And then I end up with choice paralysis.
Yeah.
But I only ever really seem to have that in stealth style games.
Which is ironically the exact reason why I like stealth games, where you have to sort of like decide what to do and is it the right course of action. It's risky, particularly games which are like quite unfair in your stealth. Not in the sense that you can't, if it goes wrong, you can't escape, but in the sense of it's not good to get caught.
Yeah. See, the other problem I have though is that sometimes it's kind of like that last puzzle, and We Were Here. Like, I've gone this far, I've been caught. Fuck. All the way back to the start we go.
Well,
because in some cases, in some games I've played, they're not very nice with stealth.
No.
If you get caught, you're done.
I want
to.
I saw someone post today and pointed that stuff out, which I thought was very true. Is ironically, they put stealth sections in a lot of games which shouldn't have stealth sections in, and they are far more punishing than actual stealth games.
Stealth game.
Because stealth games realise part of the fun of if you get caught is figuring out how to escape. That's part of the fun of it. Just saying the game immediately isn't fun unless the levels are really short.
One of my favourite games on PlayStation 1 was Tenchu Stealth Assassins. Levels are quite compact. Tons of options to get through the level. Enemy placement is somewhat random. But I fucking love that game. But there are other games I've played, like shooters or like other RPGs. They'll shoehorn in a stealth section, and you step on a twig, or like it's kind of like the whole Metro thing, man. You've stepped on glass, and everyone fucking knows where you are, dude. Oh, that's that. That's over. Done. Restart.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. Exactly what I mean. Stealth game, a good stealth game should punish you for being caught, but you should be able to escape as well. And it shouldn't like send you back to the start. It shouldn't do that. If it does that, it's a bad stealth game. Because part of the thrill is escaping. That's part of the fun. I mean, I would say actually one of my stealth modes I did used to like doing, which is in the very original Rainbow Sixes. They
Mhm.
had 2 stealth levels, and they were a hard fail. If you got spotted, the game ended. But those levels weren't particularly long, and you could sort of like you had tools to help you, quite good tools to help you figure out what to do and so forth. But
Yeah.
oh, they'd even, if you forgot to close a door, the enemies would spot the door and go, and the game would end because they get suspicious. The game would end.
Yeah.
That's an unfair stealth game. That's a game that really
That's
fucks
a
you up.
hard no right
Yeah,
there.
yeah. That was a hard one, but still fun. Luckily, it was only 2 levels, and that was just enough to make it like, oh, I'm not going to hate this.
Mhm.
But yeah, really, really good. But when you do succeed at that, the sort of like little rush of adrenaline you get as a result of it is really great.
I
Really
think
great.
that really depends on the games, because I
Yeah.
think in in a lot of the games I've played with forced stealth, and I always say as soon as there's fucking forced stealth, I'm like, nope, game down, because it's usually really
Yeah.
bad.
Well,
When
that's the
you
trouble
get
with
through it,
stealth is usually bad. That's the other trouble is they're usually not very well done.
yeah, it's not a case of like, oh yeah, rush, I've done it, fantastic. It's oh thank fuck that's over.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And if your stealth section ends with an oh thank fuck that's over, not good,
True. Although
not good stuff.
there are some games where it's like when you get to the end of it, a bit of I call it the roller coaster effect,
Mm,
where you get off the end and think, oh, that's done. But then at the same time, it's like, that was quite fun. I'm like that in a lot of stealth horror games.
mhm.
While I'm playing them, I really don't particularly like them. But it's when I get to the end,
Yeah,
I
sure,
go,
sure.
ah. Oh. Or when you cheat on
See,
that.
stealth horror doesn't work for me because one, horror doesn't work for me. Two, they're too slow.
Yeah, I get that. I
There's
get that.
there's like there's not enough going on. It's avoid that thing, and then if the thing catches you early on, you're like, don't care anymore.
No, yeah, I get that. I get that. Um, totally understand. I, yeah, 100% totally get that. I can see why people wouldn't like or don't like that sort of thing. I totally understand it. I personally, I agree with you. Once you've been caught, it loses sort of the edge,
Hmm.
which is why I'm really trying to avoid getting caught because I know
Yeah,
if
of
it's,
course, the tension is only there up until the first time you get caught. But
yeah,
the problem is, if you kind of don't notice something and you get caught really early on, it really sours the
mm,
experience the rest of the way through because that
yeah,
tension's just cracked. It's gone.
yeah, because it's like there's no danger anymore, and you know there's no danger. Of course you know, but
Yeah,
part of
but
everything,
it's that fear of the unknown.
yeah, yeah. So that's why I like it, but I must make sure I never ever get caught because it just, yeah. Anywho, I think unless there's anything else from yourself,
Nah, that's it, mate.
I think it's time for us to wrap up then this episode. So I'll just say thank you for watching us this evening. And you can check out our next podcast, which will be released. And he says very carefully, moving his mouse to try not to make too much noise, and he can't see his mouse cursor. It'll be on the 19th of December. Will be our next podcast, and that's our Christmas special. You can come join us for that. We discuss another game and also our game of the year. So come join us for that. That'll be on 19th. That'll be broadcast at, and this one I can guarantee will be broadcast at 6:30 GMT. Guaranteed. You'll better check out our next. So we've had our last game like for the year, which was yesterday. So if you missed it, um, but you can
Probably for
check
the
out those.
best. My God.
You can check out those edits. They'll be up on the channel on next Monday, and then starting on the 17th will be our We Were Here Forever Christmas special series. I'll be running through all the way through to the new year. So for me, the Suffolk Ram,
Gaseous.
look forward to seeing you in a couple of weeks, and have a good evening, everybody.
Take it easy,
Bye.
guys.